Good morning. You just heard Nuttuali Bianchi, which means white clouds, written by Eunode Lubovico, Eunode, and arranged by Dimitri Varela. So, what a beautiful piece. That just took me to outer space. So, Bienvenido, Yangco, on clarinet. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Frances Lorenz, and it's my delight to welcome you on this beautiful day. I want to introduce our musicians. They are Terry O'Hara on piano. Christina Brewer is our soloist, along with Sharon Sterling is going to be joining her in a solo for our offering we're excited about. And on platform with me is Matthew Brack. He'll be doing a meditation. And our practitioner for the day is Reverend Caroline Perrohe. So we will welcome you, and we're going to open with this lovely song by Christina Brewer called Rise Up, Oh My Soul.
It is 3 lines. Can everybody say, Rise up, oh my soul?
Rise up, oh my soul.
Let the Spirit flow. And show me the kingdom wherever I go. Not necessarily in that order. But those are the 3 lines. I'm going to sing it nice and slow for the beginning. And then we're going to get into it. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Rise up, oh my soul. Let the Spirit flow. Rise up, oh my soul.
I think we've been shown the kingdom. What do you think? Are you awake yet? So, a couple of announcements. I want to call on Sharon to tell you about our little cash and carry sale coming up.
So next Sunday, you're going to have a one-time opportunity to bring your cash or check. And what we have left from our auction of a couple weeks ago is going to be downstairs, and you can purchase it just with coming down and giving us a bid. We'll have what the retail is, what's suggested, and then you can give us an offer too. So bring your checks and money, and we're going to have a fun time after each service. You can come down and see what's left. Thanks.
And thanks to you, there's not much left, but there's some goodies. So, anyway, I want to ask Reverend Matthew to tell you about his class, the Order of the Sacred Earth. It's a book study, and it starts tomorrow night. So if you want to do it, you better sign up today. So here you go.
Good morning. So far we have 3 people, and we have room for plenty more. The visioning class had, I think, 8, which was a good turnout, so I'm looking for more people. It is a 4-week book study based on the book by Matthew Fox. It is a way to re-engage ecology and to kind of change our language. And part of my goal is to help us with a new language so that it's not this idea that it's one thing or the other, but it's a combination of everything together. And a shift in consciousness will really help us heal our relationship with the environment more than anything else. So this is an opportunity for you to show up on Monday evenings and relax for a couple of hours for 4 weeks and go through this book and hopefully have a shift in your life. And basically, you can go online and sign up. It's all there. I think it's under $100, right? $55. So it's great. So if you want to sign up, please do it today. And then I'll find out and I can send you the Zoom link. So thank you.
Let's see, I think it's time for our opening prayer by Caroline.
Good morning. Close your eyes if you wish, although it is not required. And just relax back into your chair, letting go of any concerns, cares, woes. Just drop them. We gather together this morning to open our hearts and our minds and to listen to our soul. For we are God in action. We have the power, we have the strength, we have whatever it takes to co-create our lives in a wonderful, positive way. And so this morning we share our thoughts and our ideas. We listen to Reverend Frances and her wisdom and her love, and pick up those little nuggets that will carry us through the week. And I am very grateful for this time we spend together, for Reverend Frances and for each one of you here today, and so it is.
Let's just take that prayer and move into meditation. So I invite you to allow your eyes to gently close. And this morning, as we move into that still place within us, let's just recognize that every time we say yes to the divine and take 10 steps towards the divine, it takes 1,000 steps towards us. And so let's just breathe right now. Moving into that place of calm, of order, of peace. that place within us that is filled with all of the intelligence, all of the healing, all of the wisdom, the order and the beauty. And it is filled with that path forward. Let's just be in that truth this morning. Just breathing into it. We know this place. It's who we are. Feel that presence within you. Feel the upwelling of all of that. And feel it around you. Knowing that all of that is here to support you in every way. In the quiet, we are restored. We are renewed. And we always have the opportunity to awaken once again to our purpose and to the very truth that we are expressions of all that is. We are expressions of the divine right here and right now. And this morning I would like to invite you to say yes. To say yes to whatever downloads you receive today. Whatever wants to speak to your heart, to your soul, to your mind. Whatever healing you desire for your physical being and any other part of who you are. And recognize that when you say yes, everything you could ever need and more shows up. The universe responds. So this morning I invite you to just surrender into this place, this time. Allow yourself to receive all of the gifts this morning that are here for you. And make room for them in your consciousness. And as we take a deep breath together, we allow all of that to express itself and to move through our being. And we connect with that space which is around us that is always filled with the divine. So breathing this in, allowing ourselves to integrate this truth once again, we are refreshed and restored. We are renewed and we are ready to experience this beautiful day here. And so as we open our eyes and come back to the room, I invite you to become present and to see that which is around you and appreciate it. And so it is.
But not from the cold. Something is familiar like a dream I can reach but not quite hold. I can sense you there, like a friend I've always known. I'm arriving, and it feels like I am home. I have always been a fortress, cold secrets deep inside. You have secrets too, but you don't have to hide. Show yourself, I'm dying to meet you. Show yourself, it's your turn. Are you the one I've been looking for all of my life? Show yourself, I'm ready to learn. I've never felt so certain. All my life I've been torn, but I'm here for a reason. Could it be the reason I was born? I have always been so different. All the rules did not apply. Is this the day I find the way? Are you the reason why? Show yourself, I'm no longer trembling. Here I am, I've come so far. You are the answer I've waited for all of my life. Oh, show yourself, let me see who you are. Come to me now, open your door. Don't make me wait one moment more. Oh, come to me now, open your door. Don't make me wait one moment more. Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of a memory. Come, my darlings, homeward bound. I am bound. Show yourself, step into your power, grow yourself into something new. You are the answer you've waited for all of your life. Oh, show yourself, show yourself.
Show yourself. Show your soul. That's what that means. So today we start a whole new series in June called The Soul's Call. And it's the idea that within every living person there is a call to connect and to commune, be in conscious union with a power greater than ourselves. And the definition of soul can be a little messy. We may wonder if there's a real entity that's the essence of life. For Ernest Holmes, our founder, the soul is the creative medium that connects us to the universal intelligence. It's our individualized spirit that has eternal life. And the soul, you might say, is a spiritual organ that we carry around with us every day, and it informs and observes every move we make. Gurdjieff would call it the observer self. Emma Curtis Hopkins would say that soul and the self are interchangeable terms. Greg Lavoie, author of Calling, says the soul is the ultimate BS detector. It's all knowing, it's the big picture part of us. The call of the soul. The call is a living entity within us. It's the driving force of our lives. The call is a deep yearning for something. Part of us thinks a call is ridiculous, and another part of us knows that this call gives our life meaning and purpose. Part of us wants to wake up, and part of us just wants to go to sleep. When I lived in Austin, Texas, there was a professor named Ilya Prigogine who taught chemistry at the University of Texas in Austin. And he won the Nobel Prize for a theory he had called dissipative structures. And he observed that when one chemical was mixed with another chemical, there was a time of dormancy. It was just inert. Nothing would happen. And suddenly the mixture would bubble and shake, and the resultant outcome was greater than the sum of the two parts mixed together. Greg Lavoie says the capacity to be shaken up. And things happen all the time to us that shake us up. But this shaking up is the key to spiritual growth. And during the shaking part, we have to have the courage to stay the course. Jerry Lee Lewis used to say there's a whole lot of shaking going on, right? So there is a whole lot of shaking going on because we're constantly growing and evolving. And it's often to poetry that we first turn to get a common understanding of the soul. Mary Oliver captures the contradictions and ambiguities that are inherent in the word. And she wrote a poem called Some Questions You Might Ask. Is the soul solid like iron? Or is it tender and breakable like the wings of a moth and the beak of an owl? Who has it and who doesn't? I keep looking around me. The face of the moose is as sad as the face of Jesus. The swan opens her white wings slowly. And in the fall, the black bear carries leaves into the darkness. One question leads to another. Does it have a shape like an iceberg, like the eye of a hummingbird? Does it have one lung like the snake and the scallop? Why should I have it and not the anteater who loves her children? Why should I have it and not the camel? Come to think about it, what about maple trees? What about blue iris? What about all the little stones sitting alone in the moonlight? What about roses and lemons and their shining leaves? What about grass? These images of the poet touch us and stir our sense of mystery. They remind us of how little we know about the world that is around us. And perhaps it's okay that there are some things about which we know little but a name. The Sufis tell a tale about a man who was married to a wife much younger than him. And one day his most faithful servant approached him and he said, "You know, your new wife is behaving suspiciously. She has brought a huge chest that once belonged to her grandmother into her room. At first it only contained a few embroideries, but I believe there may well be much more inside it today than that. She sent me away and forbade me to look inside it. And so the man went into his wife's room and found her sitting beside the chest. "Will you show me what's inside this?" he said. "Because of your servant's suspicions or because you don't trust me?" she replied. "Wouldn't it be easier just to open it without thinking about all these undertones?" her husband said. "I do not think it's possible," said the wife. And he said, "Give me the key." And she held it up. And she said, "Dismiss your servant and I'll give it to you." And so the servant was dismissed, and the woman handed over the key to her husband. And then she too left the room, obviously troubled. The old man thought about the chest for a long time. Then he called the 4 gardeners from his estate, and together they carried the chest unopened to a distant part of the grounds, and they buried it. And the matter was never referred to again. Perhaps our conversation about the soul should be like that. Why speculate about something that can't be proven? If somehow we could obtain the key to the box of knowledge that would tell us everything about the soul, maybe it would be better just to leave it buried and unopened. I felt that way sometimes in my speculations about the soul. In ministerial school, we had to read a book by Thomas More called Care of the Soul. And in it, More begins with his definition of what the word soul should point toward. "Soul is not a thing," said More, "but a quality or a dimension of experiencing life in ourselves. It has to do with depth and value, relatedness, heart, and personal substance." And I don't use the word here as an object of religious belief or as something to do with immortality. So here we're talking about something totally different from a metaphysical entity. Moore's book uses a psychotherapist's definition of the soul, inspired by Jungian psychology, mythology, and the arts. And he goes on and he says, care of the soul begins with the observance of how the soul manifests itself and how it operates. We can't care for the soul unless we're familiar with its ways. And observance is a word from ritual and religion. It means to watch out for, but also to honor and keep. The serve in observance, or the serve in observance, is originally referred to as tending sheep. I never knew that before last night. So observing the soul, we're keeping an eye on the sheep, on whatever's wandering and grazing, and or whatever our latest addiction is, or a striking dream, or a troubling mood. Care of the soul is honoring the signposts, the scenery, the obstacles and companions of our inner journey. It sounds simple enough. Why use that troubling word, soul? I think it's because we don't have a word in English that comes any closer to describing the meeting place, this crossroads where our separated embodied lives encounter so much at once. Not only the world around us, but the unconscious archetypes that surround us, the history that we pull behind us, and the aspirations and values that we envision in front of us. I like Moore's comparison between the observance that goes into the care of the soul and tending sheep. This reminds me of a story that's drawn from the spiritual fable called The Souls of Lambs. It's the story about a sheep farmer who learned something about soul from years of watching both his sheep and the changing weather outside. But he had one more powerful lesson to learn about the soul. And it came when his wife was ready to deliver their last baby. It was hay baling time, and the shepherd had been betrayed by the weather. He was feverishly baling hay, trying to outrace the coming storm, when his wife went into early labor. He asked, should they start now? For the hospital was 30 miles away. Finish baling, she urged him, else the hay crop will be lost. He didn't need much convincing. He knew that the hay was worth a lot, and he knew what purchased hay would cost. So he baled, and then the storms came and made further baling useless. He didn't have the time to load the bales on the wagons. And so the shepherd went home, and there he found his wife lying still. Her ruptured womb no longer urged an infant to be born. And the shepherd had not seen the soul depart his wife. What he saw was only flesh. He could see her now weighing her pain, urging him to bail. Better lose a hay crop than his mate and his helpless infant. Then rain came and fell in sheets, and he knew his hay would also rot. How does anyone confront such pain? How do people bear grief? The shepherd had crumpled on the bed and clutched hands at his heart, astonished by its violent beating, and he feared it might burst. Pain shot towards the shepherd's shoulders, but he saw that succumbing now would be a cruel, pointless joke. He vowed, no, I will not die today. I'm still more than meat. And the shepherd didn't weep. His heart regained its ancient pace, and slowly he rose and sought help. How does anyone confront pain? How do people bear grief? How indeed would we be able to do that if our souls didn't teach us to endure? There are things on earth that can't be seen with the naked eye. Not with microscopes, not with binoculars or any lens. There are things within every creature that can never be explained. To wit, what is the soul and where? And yet the soul certainly seems to exist. There's no life without soul. And when creatures die, it's their souls that die or disappear, for not a single cell of their carcass disappears. We're talking now about something that the soul teaches us. And that is part of the courage and wisdom that grows from life experience, from unearned and inexplainable sufferings. Something we sense is either lost or changed when we are in the presence of death. Sometimes it's a crisis, a profound loss, or a dramatic change that puts us squarely at that crossroads where we recognize the soul is all we have. And so the shepherd sums up what he's learned about the soul. I know 3 ways to see the soul, he thinks to himself, though not with the eyes. Each is a mode of loving. Each is a mode of loving vision. One mode is passion, a second mode is parenthood, and a third way to see the soul is in husbandry. In the passion of his love for his wife and in their role together as parents, and in the daily caring for all outward things that sustain the farm. All of these insights are echoed in Thomas More's understanding of what constitutes the soul. Tradition teaches that the soul lies midway between understanding and unconsciousness, and that its instrument is neither the mind nor the body, but imagination. And so the fourth way of seeing the soul, and the key to the box containing Thomas More's understanding of it. To say that imagination is the key to understanding your soul is not to concede that the soul is less than real. We're truly observant and honoring of the daily messages our souls send us. What are the daily messages of the soul? Ironically, some of them are symptoms, physical and emotional signals that we try to suppress or ignore. When we experience a setback, it might be a vehicle to know the soul. Ernest Holmes reminds us that, he says, why all the suffering and pain? Why has tragedy accompanied the journey of man? And he says there's no other way through which true individuality can evolve. Humans must be let alone to discover themselves. When our life isn't working the way we would like, pain invites us to revisit our purpose and redirect our path. So pain might be called the perfect fertilizer. It prepares the soul of your life to represent your deepest soul purpose. And another thing to remember is that pain isn't punishment. So stop thinking you've done something wrong. Recognize that today's painful experience is helping you move away from something that is out of alignment with your soul's desires. And thirdly, that pain can be a pathway. It can be a pathway to the divine. So your assignment this week is to look at your own soul's calling. What's a sign that your soul is calling? Well, you may be experiencing some pain. You may have a feeling there's more to explore. Or there's a pattern to the struggles and pain you face in your life. And you have a deep yearning to express your gifts. You want to do good in the world. Greg Lavoie, who wrote Calling, who's going to do a workshop for us on August 15th via Zoom, so watch for that. In his early life, he was a reporter for the Cincinnati Enquirer, and after he was there for 10 years, he was about 30 years old, he reached a threshold. He heard a calling to quit his job and become a full-time freelance writer, and he said, well, like most people, I won't follow a calling until the fear of doing it has finally been exceeded by the pain of not doing it. The ancient Romans say that the fates lead those who will, and those who won't, they drag. So following a call brings a great sense of aliveness to your life. It might mean leaving your job to make a creative leap, or launch a new venture to make a course correction. So Greg was seeking to be a freelance writer. He knew that was his call. When USA Today offered him a job at their new paper. You remember USA Today when it came out with a daily paper. And so they went around to all the newspapers all over the country and asked them to give up one employee temporarily to them so they could start this paper, and if it didn't work out, they would get their job back. And so the deal was, you'll work for us for 4 months in Washington, D.C., and if you don't work out, you'll be sent home. And so he thought, well, what do I have to lose? But after 3 months, he was sent back to Cincinnati. And driving home from work, I love this story, because this is one of my favorite songs. Driving home from work, he hears a song on the radio by the Eagles called Desperado. You will know it? So, Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? So the last line in the song is, don't you draw the Queen of Diamonds, she'll beat you if she's able. The Queen of Hearts is always your best bet. So he pulled up to his house and he turned the engine off and stepped onto the curb. And there at his left foot was a playing card, the Queen of Hearts. And as he explored leaping in the new direction, he found 4 more Queen of Heart cards in a conference room in Santa Fe, on a sand dune in Oregon, in a mountain wilderness in Colorado. And Lavoie said, Twilight Zone seemed like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. But the message was clear: more heart, less head, and he finally leaped and became a best-selling author. So he woke up to the blessing of his soul's calling. There's an old joke in therapy circles that a man goes to a psychiatrist convinced he's dead. And the psychiatrist is unable to help his client shake the delusion. And finally, the psychiatrist said, "You've heard that dead men don't bleed, haven't you?" "Yes," said the man. So the psychiatrist takes a little pin and pokes him in the arm and makes his arm bleed. And the psychiatrist says, "Well, what do you say now?" And the man says, "Well, what do you know? Dead men bleed." So security is the bane of the soul. We just find it really hard to change sometimes. And sometimes the desire to protect ourselves from change harms the flowering of our soul's life more than any other choice. Everyone has a soul, but not everyone knows how to touch, heal, and nurture soul in their lives. The great Zen master Suzuki Roshi was dining out with a group of Western students, and he had just conducted a seminar and it had ended, and the Roshi was trying to eat his meal. And one man insisted on ploying him with questions. "How would you sum up Zen for a Westerner like me?" And with unusual vigor, Suzuki looked at him in the eye and he said, "Eat." So one of the most puzzling ideas Carl Jung put forward was this: the soul is for the most part outside the body. This one really blew me away. The soul is for the most part outside the body. This contradicts our usual thinking that it's with the mind and inside. But it harkens back to that story about the shepherd's insight that husbandry, taking care of the things of the world, is in itself our connection to the soul. Carl Jung worked on a tower retreat. He built and maintained and decorated a primitive stone tower as a living place for himself. He painted dream images on the walls, and the outward and inward work that was manifested by his reading and writing that he did inside the tower were all one. The soul feeds on life around it. And to the soul, the ordinary is sacred, and the everyday is the primary source of spirituality. Carl Jung observed the churches of his day, and he said, "What infinite rapture and wantonness lie dormant in our religion, we have to bring to fruition, the hymn of love." And that observation is still true, and the challenge still to be taken up. So may we rise to meet that, and may we find the call of our soul. God bless you. Thank you.
mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give every day of your life, for as long as you live. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your
Wow, beautiful. So it's time for our offering. With the usher come forward and oh, it's so beautiful. So there's a blessing that's in your program and on the screen. Let's say that together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
I pray you'll be alright, and will watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be our when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace,
and every heart that's broken will be mended, and we'll remember we are all God's children, reaching out to touch you, reaching to the sky. Ask that life be kind. We ask that life be kind. And watch us from above. And watch us from above. We hope each soul will find. We hope each soul will find. Another soul to love. Another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer. Just like every child needs to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe. Needs to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be
Standing ovation. What a beautiful rendition by Christina and Sharon. You know, a couple of months, Christina had to do this all by herself, and she came up, and Sharon came up to me after the service, and she said, "I can sing the tenor part." I said, "Okay, the next time we do it, you can." And it was gorgeous. I'm crying.
2 weeks ago, Benny threw that out there. I was like, yes, please, give me somebody to do it with.
Uh-huh. And of course, she'd already manifested months ago. But it was beautiful, beautiful. Wow. So it's time for our healing prayer, and Caroline is going to lead us in that. And then we'll have a closing song by Christina called Drift Away.
Just sit back and relax and feel the perfection of your spiritual body. And that perfection flows through and animates and heals your physical body, or your mental or emotional upsets. Whatever it may be, healing is possible. Not only that, it is taking place right now because my words come back fulfilled. So whatever you have need of, open your heart and your mind and let the health and the good feelings flow through, and know that you are healed. The process is taking place right here, right now. For that, we give thanks, and so it is.
Okay, if you guys know this song, you can sing it. Day after day, I'm more confused. Yet I look through the light, through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose. And I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Beginning to think that I'm wasting time. I don't understand the things I do. The world outside looks so unkind. So I'm counting on you to carry me through. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. And when my mind is free, you know the melody can soothe me. Oh, and when I'm feeling blue, the guitar's coming through to soothe me. Yeah. Thanks for the joy that you've given me. I want you to know I believe in your song. The rhythm, the rhyme, the harmony. You've helped me along and making me strong. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in rock and roll and drift away.
Beautiful. So thank you all for joining us either online or in person, and we are open for in-person services, so come and join us. We have plenty of room for you. So God bless you all. May you have a soulful week and plenty of discovery. Thank you.